Fine. So at the onset, I would like to welcome Rupa back after a couple of days when we started with the briefing session about how they need to play with simulation. So I hope it have been a great experience for the student, a learning experience for the students, provided they have actually poured in some time and some effort into it. But because we are dealing with MBA final SEM student, most of them are placed at this juncture. So that was the reason why we shifted the rounds to late night in the evening. And based on that, I'm sure whatever learning they could make, they really tried doing that. And I welcome all the students right here. And today's the final tournament round, the debriefing round based on the tournament that you have played in the previous days. And Rupa ma'am would be briefing you about your performance, that how and what decisions you took and how strategic significance those decisions hold. So let's hear it from ma'am. Over to you, Rupa ma'am.
Thank you, Dipali. Welcome all. So just a little bit of input. See, typically learning best happens when there is sharing by your experience. Yeah, because otherwise, for me to tell you, it really doesn't hold too much of value. What we will do is a little different this time. We will talk about what was expected. We will look at how to analyze data, because I did go through your data sheets and I did look at, where the gaps are emerging. So I will be showcasing all of that, like Dipali said, but I would like you to also talk, because experiential learning is all about your experience with the simulation. Yeah. So we will work that ways. Yeah. So are we game to speak, Akhil, Shubhankar, Roshali, Vartika, Abhishek?
I think Shubhankar and Akhil still are not connected with the audio.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just wondering then how will it add value to them if they're just going to be there without...
I have marked them a message as well.
Okay, fair. So the others who could hear me, can I get a response? What was your experience?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Abhishek. Yeah, so let's talk about, what we were expected to be doing. Okay, we participated in a simulation called the boardroom. Basically, the boardroom simulation, the context was that each of your teams was a firm, manufacturer and marketeer of a product. Yeah, and typically was looking for expansion and strengthening the market share. And your role as the leadership team was increase shareholder value over the 6 years, right? Are we on the same page? Everybody remembers this is what we said? Come on, participate.
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful, thank you. Now, basically what you needed to do was have a clear strategy as to how you will increase the shareholder value. Now, what was the leaderboard in the game all about? Leaderboard was flashing your share price, right? Year on year, we were looking at a share price. Now, typically, let me ask you, what was important when you were taking decisions? What was important for each one of you as a team? Abhishek, Rushali, Utkarsh, anyone? Vartika? What was your experience?
They were focusing more on, because the ultimate aim was increase the share price. So maybe they were focusing more on that. I think so.
Yeah, they needed to focus on how to increase.
Is it so, Parvi? Do you agree to that? You can give a thumbs up just in case if you all agree. And in order to increase your market share, ma'am is asking, what was it that you were majorly confining to? How could you increase that? Great.
Shubhankar? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, we were focusing on increasing our share prices, and like our team focused on improving our product at the same time. Like we noticed that one of our products was lesser in quality than the other teams that had the same target audience. We had TEL and TH1 as products. So H1 product was not as good as the other team. So we focused on improving that and increasing its awareness. That's what we did.
Wonderful. So basically, share price when you're looking.
Could you face the camera? You are not visible. You are not in the front of camera. I can take some screenshots in that case.
Lovely.
Okay.
So broadly, what you needed to do is have a clear strategy. So Parvi beautifully got out that their team had one part of the strategy saying that they needed to improve a product. Yeah. The second element that we talk about when we are looking at results is past performance, market situation, and competitor action. Yeah. So all these dimensions play an important role when we are talking about a firm's performance. Yeah. And clearly being able to document what is the action we are going to take round on round, clearly defining at the start of the round, what is it that we will do in this round and what are we expecting as an outcome. So while a company will have a philosophy or we talked about a brand name, we talked about a company slogan wanting to achieve something. Yeah, so there were only a few teams who shared that. But, when you were looking at all of your year-on-year performance, were you focused on what your company objective was? Winning. Somebody said, we want to give quality. So all of that, were you really focusing on? And also looking at the end of the year, what has been the impact of your actions and thereby modifying the approach for the next year. So that's broadly, when you are looking at a simulation, the focus was needed there. In our simulation, what were some of the crucial roles? Now let's look at, when we are talking about share price for a firm, what is a share price a resultant of? What is share price a determinant of? Industry factors. Yeah. So when I talk about industry factors, I would talk about how the industry is growing, how the firm is doing in the industry, competition in the industry, what are the regulations in the industry, what kind of industry it is. All those factors from the industry perspective determine the share price. Whereas when you look at internal factors that determine the share price, typically they would be the quality of the product. Yeah. They would typically be the firm's factors. What is the firm doing in the industry? And typically share price is a reflection of what is the investor really looking for. What do you think investors look for when they want to buy a share, or if anybody is in stocks? What do you look for when you're buying stocks? Performance of the firm?
Yeah, the past performance also becomes an indicator, and plus the stability that the firm is having, and at what pace, what are the future prospects at the pace at which they are growing, maybe, right. And the kind of product that they are having, is it promising or not? Is it need of the hour? Will consumer pick it up well or not? So those kind of things lay your trust into a company.
Yes. So typically investors look at all these parameters. Yeah, the growth, the products, how is the company doing as an enterprise, what kind of
and I think consumers' perception about the product also plays a very important role, because it's all based on that, the way they buy. That is what is going to give a push or impetus to the increase in the price of share.
Yes.
as well.
So therefore, as teams, as companies that we were playing in the market, we had certain decisions to take. We had decisions of sales, we had decisions of marketing, production, R&D, finance, and the enterprise level decisions. So each of us in a team had to take marketing decisions, R&D decisions, sales decisions, enterprise level decisions. Yeah, and all of this was outlined in the manual, right? So we know all of this, right? Whether we are looking at targeting the right customer segment, market research, whether we are taking the decisions rightly, R&D, etc., etc. These were some of the decisions. Now, typically, directors and shareholders look at financial performance, the brand, continuous growth, going concern. So typically, a firm is a growing concern concept. Yeah. So sustainable. It is separate from the people in the organization. Yeah. And is the firm earning as per budget? Now, all of this we had talked about: running out of cash, spending on CSR, giving dividends. These are some of the decisions that the shareholders look for. Okay. Now let's look at what were we expected to do. We were expected to target appropriate customers, take decisions, have adequate advertisement budgets, launch new products, deployment of Salesforce, open new stores, plan production. So what we will do is we will look at this data in terms of some firm data. So let's look at first, where are we overall? Did we see our leaderboards? Do we know where we were in the ranking? We had 2 tournaments playing, right? So Shubhankar, you were part of this tournament, AFT 269223, right? Shubhankar, who also was part of your team? Is your team with you, Shubhankar?
Ma'am,
Parvi was also
Ma'am Shubhankar, I and Nimish were in a team.
Okay, lovely.
Ankar, Parvi, and Nimisha. Yeah.
Yeah, so all 3 of you are here. Okay, so what we will do is now look at where your standings was. What was the share price at the start of the tournament? Everybody started at the same share price. Anybody? Shubhankar? Nimisha? Yeah. So what we will do is we will look at, so this is the data of the tournament. The share price for this team highest was 9.7. This is Adarsh and Pranav and Ankana's team. And here in this group, Shubhankar, Nimisha had a share price of 9.1 in the round 6. Yeah, that's the tournament end price. Now what we will do is, you're able to see my Excel, right?
Yeah, we can
Fine.
see.
Okay. So broadly what I did was I put the reports together onto one Excel just for our understanding. Initial round 0 share price was at 10, and round 6, if you look at it, the highest share price is 9.1 in one tournament and 9.7. So have we really maintained the share price or taken it to profits? Taken the firm ahead, increased the share price, sorry, not profits, yes, we've done, but have we kind of, for the investor, improved the share price? Okay, so what we will now do is, any questions here? Was that the expectation that the share prices will skyrocket?
I have a query over here, Rupa. Like in the last column, whatever you are showing, they are the final prices, the Excel sheet that you were showing previously.
Yeah.
Can we come back to that?
Yes.
So are those the final share price which they were able to make in the market?
Yes.
Okay, and like 9.7 for this group P3. So they are scoring the highest of all.
Yes, they are the first rankers here in this particular tournament.
Okay. Is
I
it only about tournament 6 or is
no,
it
there were
about
two
all the-
tournaments running parallelly, Dipali, because typically what happens is if you make the market very complex, okay, with all 14 teams competing together, then every team will have to analyze data for a lot many more firms. So supposing I'm in the market and I'm competing against 7 firms, then I have only 7 firms data to look at. But if I'm in a market which has 15 firms, so data analysis would have become very complex for the students because of the paucity of time. What we decided to do was give 2 tournaments running parallelly. So saying that one could be the West market, the other could be the North zone market. Now, 7 firms were competing in the West market and 7 firms were competing in the North zone market. So that it becomes easier for them to focus and take decisions and learn meaningfully. Because if you're analyzing data for 14 firms, it would take you so much more longer. Yeah, Dipali?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
So that is the reason why, given that, people are working, time crunch, how to analyze data for 14 firms, is it going to be easy? So therefore we said, make it 2 tournaments running parallelly, same time lines. You run them parallelly. One is say, handling the North market, the other is handling the West market. Okay. So that's broadly what we did. Okay. And so that's broadly the focus that we did. Now, there was an interrelationship or interplay. Can you see my PPT?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So there is an interplay between all these functions. Yeah. And therefore, the results get impacted by all the decisions that you take in marketing, sales, R&D, production, corporate finance, etc., etc. Now, before I move ahead, I want to ask the people on the call, you can show with a reaction, how was the experience of participating? Whether we did well, whether we did not do well, that's immaterial. What is important is what did we experience while we were doing the simulation? Was it an experience that you enjoyed? Thumbs up if you enjoyed the experience. Can I see reactions? No, I think, Dipali, I don't think I'm audible. किसी का जवाब ही नहीं आ रहा.
You are audible.
Okay. So we didn't enjoy the experience.
Yes. No, they did. In the morning, I had a word with Parvi and Shubhankar. They enjoyed playing and they said they've added a product and they were very detailed about the entire thing. So I could sense out that, yes, they have gained something out of the whole.
See, the thing is that, the way there is a learning irrespective of, if you've really looked at the data and analyzed. We may not have done well. We may think that we could do better. That's perfectly all right. Because that's what experiential learning is all about, no? That you learn, you make mistakes, you realize, and you learn from the mistakes. Yeah. So that's broadly the experiential learning when we talk about the simulation. So no worries, even if we didn't do very well, it was complex, all that is fine. Today we are going to be looking at how did we actually go about. Yeah, and I will take one sample team data, okay, and we will start talking about that sample team data. Yeah, so I'm stopping share and I'm going into share screen again, and I will, okay. So now let's look at this is the tournament that I'm taking right now. This is Shubhankar's team is T4, right? Shubhankar and team, whoever can respond. So I'm taking this tournament data, okay, just for us to get a understanding of what to do. Shubhankar, is this your T4 was your team?
Ma'am, I'm present from the team.
Yeah, so your team was T4, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's look at the share price We started at a share price of 10, and as we progressed, our share price dropped. Round 2 further dropped, round 3 further dropped. Round 4 is something where we did something and our share price increased, started increasing. And then we were able to kind of close it at a decent 9.1. Yeah, it could have been better, but nevertheless, we took, on the way forward, we took a couple of decisions, right? And that is why the share price moved in this manner. Other teams also did things and their share prices moved in this fashion. Yeah. So for analysis for today, we will work with the data of T4. Okay, just to be able to get a hang as to how you needed to look at data, how you needed to interpret, what is the meaning, and we are going to interpret it together. I am not going to be spoon feeding. Okay, I'm only going to be sharing the data and we will talk. Are we game for that? Vartika, Akhil, Utkarsh, are we game? Show me a thumbs up. I don't see this audience participating. Dipali, it's only you and me talking. Dipali is also, yeah. Okay, so do you want me to continue or do you want me to?
I'm very much there with you.
Yeah. Do you want me to continue, team, or you want me to stop?
Rushali, Parvi, this is not happening, beta. Jyoti, Vartika, Utkarsh.
Ma'am, we are here only. We'd like you to continue.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, we are here only.
Okay. So you had various research reports available to you round on round. Okay. You took certain decisions. So I will now go with the decision tab and we'll keep coming back to reports. Yeah. So I've just put it now T4. That's the team of what's the name? I'm sorry. Oh God, sorry. Give me a minute. The name is Shubhankar, Parvi, and Nimisha. Yeah. You had a product for the elite segment and the high income segment. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. Now let's look at what kind of decisions we took. So you had a production tab. Yeah. So you took production related decisions. What I have done is I've pasted all your decisions on one sheet. Okay. Now let's look at what did we do for production. Anybody would like to talk by looking at this data? What did you do?
One second, ma'am.
Yeah. You're able to see my screen, right? You can see the
Ma'am,
and
I see a graph.
okay. Thank you. Just keep telling me because when I change screen, sometimes, you know, it doesn't. Yeah. Now, can you see a production tab?
Yes, ma'am.
Lovely. Thank you. Now you're seeing in round 0, everybody began with 20 plants. Okay. What did this team do? They increased a plant in year 1, year 2, year 3, they stayed. Now, typically, what would increasing production plant mean? You are going to have more production capacity, right? What you did also was something wonderful over here. You kind of looked at increasing the efficiency of your plants. Yeah. And the note did say that beyond a particular point, efficiency is best here. Now let's look at available production capacity. You already had 15 lakh unit available in terms of production capacity. Yeah. Year 1 production was only 3,91,000. So how much of excess capacity did you have? How much in
12
excess?
12
12
lakhs.
lakhs, right? Now, what did we do? We increased production capacity. But let's look at how did we increase production. Yeah. So year on year, when I look at the spare capacity that you had, that is increasing. Now, just think about it. I have plants which can manufacture products. Okay, but I am not producing. Is there a cost to it? I need to maintain the plant. Second, I am investing in new plants when my current plant capacity is also not utilized. Are you getting my point? So
Yes, ma'am.
therefore, what will this result into? Will this be cost to me? This investment is a cost because every year I am increasing plants. I have spare production capacity, which is lost to me because it is not getting utilized. What are your
Yes.
thoughts? What do you
Yes.
learn?
We just wasted money on the cost of running the plants when
Yes.
we could have utilized the one plant only.
Yeah, or maybe even if you wanted to increase, what did you do about production? Did you have this thing of increasing production decision? You had decision tab to increase production, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So what stopped you
We-
from? Look at
we
how
mi-
you increase
Yeah, we
production.
missed the point of available production capacity, it seems. We missed that point entirely.
Yes. So now what is happening is you have capacity, but you're not producing enough. Okay, we'll see why I'm saying you're not producing enough. Because when you look at your sales, could you have improved your market by increasing production and selling more? What happens when you sell more? Firm grows, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So what happened? You were not selling enough. Look at it. You didn't, let's look at, yeah, even T4HI. Yeah, you did not need to liquidate this thing. What you also beautifully did was you brought out a new product. Yeah, but when did you, let's look at when did you invest in R&D? Can you see the R&D tab?
Yes, ma'am.
Now look at it. What you did very well. You invested in R&D right in round 1. Okay. So while you invested in R&D, you improved T4HI in 1 year. Next year, you further increased T4HI. Look at the thing from bulk of 75, you came to 77 to 79 to 81 to 83. Yeah, so you are continuously enhancing. You brought out a new product in round 6. You invested in R&D of a new product in round 6. And you very well knew this was the last year. Typically, for a product to roll out into the market, what did we say in the manual? That you invest in R&D, next year you market it and you will see the results in year +2. So investing in R&D in round 6 for a new product, where was the rationale? Can anybody tell me?
Ma'am, our point of view was like once our TH1 product, picks up this sale, then we will introduce a new product. That's what we all thought while doing it. And
so you missed the point that it will not see the light of the day because we are only going to play for 6 years.
yes,
so again, the investment that you made here is a cost to the company.
आपने समझा रही है ना मेरा कौन सा जगह
नहीं मेरा वाला
Somebody-
Yes, ma'am.
हम केवल एक ही देख रहे हैं जस्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि जब हम डिसीजन लेते हैं तो हम क्या क्या सोच के डिसीजन हमें लेना था, हमने क्या सोच के डिसीजन लिया है, इस पे हम इंट्रोस्पेक्ट कर रहे हैं. हु वाज स्पीकिंग, किसका क्वेश्चन था कि क्या हम एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हैं? क्लियर? तो R&D में हमने, when we invested in R&D, we worked on feature improvement. Here we looked at modification cost reduction. Yeah, and thereby your project cost went up to here. So if your project cost reduction happened, how did it turn into benefit for you? Cost reduction से आपका CP कम हो गया होगा, लेकिन उसका आपको फायदा क्या मिला? How much of sales were you able to add further? Or how much of revenues were you able to add further? So whenever you're looking at any screen or any data point, you need to look at other questions also. Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So look at the production price. Round one, it was 249. Here it became 247. Production price went out to 248. So 249, 250, 256. Yeah. And all your R&D projects got over in this year itself. Now let's see the implication of this on Dipali. Yeah, I will just share screen. I'm just putting up the financial statement of this team.
Okay.
Okay. Am I able to share screen now?
Not yet.
Yep. Here you go. Yeah. Look at the cash flow statement. Look at our sales. Were you looking at your reports, the cash flow, the balance sheet, the P&L? Now look at outflow in manufacturing. When you had manufacturing capability available, year on year, you have had an outflow of manufacturing costs, which is your new plant capacity, maintenance, etc. Okay. Maintenance is here, sorry, this is only manufacturing costs or your plant additions. So production was there. Let's look at your marketing decisions. Look at your R&D decisions. Where do they come here? So outflow in R&D, you spent a good amount in R&D. Yeah. Here you see, right? You spent a good amount in R&D. Now, if you spent this in R&D, if you use your analysis, you need to figure out this investment in R&D. What is the increase in sales we got? Did we get increase in profits because of R&D? Yeah. So all your ratio analysis is what you work with. That while I am investing, what are the various ratios I need to look at? Is it giving me returns? Yeah. So this is one decision. Okay, we just talked about R&D at this point in time and production. Now let's go back to your other decisions. Any questions here or any thoughts that are coming to your mind, Shubhankar and team, or any other team also, because finally we all had similar reports. Am I audible? I seem to have lost my voice.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Shubhankar, any question?
No, ma'am.
Lovely. So are you able to learn, get some more insights now?
Yes, ma'am.
We'll come back to your reports. Okay. So this was your R&D decisions we looked at. This was your production decisions we looked at. Now let's look at your sales decisions. Okay. Now, let me ask you a fundamental question. You were catering to high income and elite group products, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, where do the high income people buy the product from and what matters to them? Similarly, what matters to the elite group and where do they buy from? And therefore, having said that, let's look at our sales decisions. I've just put them on an Excel together. Can you see the sales decision over here? Are you able to see that? Palak?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Look at it. Discount at company owned showroom. Now, both your segments were high income and elite. Were they looking for a discount? So when I'm pricing, okay, what did the manual tell you? Were they interested in discounts? Point number one. Point number two, look at the amount of mass merchandisers you were reaching out to, and is that your segment for marketing? Margins
Sorry,
to
ma'am, not clear.
where does your product sell most as per the manual?
Ma'am,
Company owned store.
and
How
the
many
specialty
company-
stores.
Yeah, and specialty stores. How many company owned showrooms did you have? Could you, instead of having invested in production, could you have looked at investing in company owned showrooms early on in your rounds? Yeah. What was the cost of investing in a showroom? Did you have that data? Did you do the calculation?
Yes, ma'am. 1,50,000.
So would it make sense to have invested in opening more stores and ensuring more salespeople to reach out to these stores and ensuring that you, instead of reaching out to mass merchandisers, you reach out more to company owned and specialty stores? Because mass merchandisers was not your segment of marketing or selling. Think about it. Would your money, would your investment have been better if you looked at, where am I supposed to sell?
Yes,
Giving
ma'am.
this-
Ma'am,
We did
we
look at
would,
that point, like where we were selling, and that's
Yes,
why we increased it year by year. But when the recession hit, we did not increase the stores, and that's why you see round 2, round 3, we have the same number of stores.
Yes, but I am saying you invested in production capacity enhancement. But if you had good production capacity, you didn't produce enough, did you sell enough? Had you produced more, would you be able to sell with the infrastructure that you had? Or would you need more infrastructure for selling? Think about it. Think about it. Are you getting what you could have probably done differently? Did you explore this? See, in a simulation, because you had a pro forma, etc., you could have explored the various facets. What happens if I increase more showrooms? What happens if I increase more salespeople? What happens if I increase my production? Instead of production capacity, do I produce more? Would that help you increase sales? Finally, what is business all about? Sales and market share, right? So
Yes,
to
ma'am.
get a more market share, to get more sales, and thereby increasing improving performance and improving share price. You focused on production capacity. Did you focus appropriately on your sales decisions is what I would like to ask you. Looking at this data here, could you have done anything differently? Think about it.
Ma'am, our retail share increased. That's why we increased the production.
Sorry.
Yes, ma'am, we could have done things differently. We could have spent less in opening up new plants and invested more in opening new stores, because more of the people were buying from these two places.
Yeah, and again, here you look at it, you're investing your energies on mass merchandisers, reaching out to mass merchandisers, vis-a-vis reaching out to
Ma'am, we were not very clear about this point because we could only increase the salespeople in these two segments. We couldn't increase the sale. We wanted to increase the salespeople for the company-owned showrooms, but like this was not maybe very well thought of. So we just increased the people for the mass merchandisers as well.
yeah. So again, spending money on something which possibly could have been avoided. You getting my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, it is for lack of experience.
Yeah, no worries. This is why we gave you the experience. That's why Dipali wanted this experience, no, for you guys to understand that when we are thinking about strategic thinking, we
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
picture. So that is why you have to sit together, brainstorm before you take a decision. If we take this, what could happen? What can be the implication? Is this a wise decision to take? See, even in organizations, decisions don't happen on the fly. Yeah, they are thought through. So that this is where data has to be looked at. And this is where people make mistakes, that they don't look at data appropriately. You had all the data in front of you. Did you really go into the data like this on an Excel and see what's happening round on round?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
A little bit, not much more.
Yes. So had you gone into putting it on an Excel and observing, you would have immediately realized that, look, what am I doing? See, when I pasted it over here, I can immediately see that your product is elite, your product is high income. Where are you selling? What are you doing? Where is your strategy going wrong? So that is where, if you remember our first conversation, I said, start pasting your data. Here I've only pasted your data because we finished the tournament only at night at 10. Yeah. You also look at competition data, and we'll come to those reports. Yeah. You actually look at which are the other two companies. You had T7 also having high income and elite product. So you needed to look at what are they doing, and then appropriately look at how we can, make our decisions. So working with data is crucial, that you study the data. Now, what are we doing right now? We are analyzing the data. And that is where we are realizing our strengths, and we are also realizing where is the lacuna. You're getting my point? Any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
So this was production and sales decisions. Okay, let's go further. I only took one product right now because since I have a time crunch, I have a next meeting starting shortly, so I will not get into too much, but broadly, I'm just showing you what was expected and showing new insights, because all of this is a learning experience. Okay, there is nothing that, right or wrong. It's just a learning experience for you as students to look at, that when I am working, I need to think strategically, connect the dots of different data points. You're getting my perspective? So when you start working, you will need to look at, data points from various sectors or various segments and look at analyzing that. Now let's look at this. Yeah, I have just taken one product of yours here. Okay. Now let's look at the retail price. Okay. I have taken T4 EI. Yeah, Elite, sorry, T4 Elite. Yeah. Now let's look at the Elite product. Round 1, retail price 735. Cost price 256. So your cost price year on year has been the same. Was this the product that you modified at any point in time?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then it is fine. I just missed that. I'm just asking because I've not pasted everything now for paucity of time. So, okay. So your cost price remained the same for this product. Okay. Now let's look at your retail price. We said Elite are okay to pay higher. Okay. You had no inventory remaining except in round 6, which meant that whatever you produced got sold. You had excess plant capacity. If you
Yes, ma'am.
realize that my product is getting picked up in the market, what
Yes,
can I
ma'am. That's
do?
why we increase price.
Sorry?
We look elite customer are ready to pay higher rate. That's why we improve performance and increase our price.
But when? 3 साल के बाद.
Yes, ma'am. After 3 years, we got realized.
And then again you kept to the same price. Year on year market में products increase होते हैं नहीं होते हैं?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what probably stopped us from taking decisions on increasing price? Possibly afraid or fear of taking risk. Possibly.
Yes, ma'am. Or and recession is there. That's why we can't increase our price.
Recession was only 1 year. Which year was it? Year 2 or year 3? 3, I think.
Yes, ma'am.
So फिर what happened to year 2? What happened to year 5? What happened to year 6? What stopped you? Think about it. I don't know. So sometimes what happens is, I mean, nothing wrong with it, but you know, we are afraid to take risks. Okay. Risk taking is an ability that companies look out for. Okay. Simulation gives you that experience of being able to take risks because it's a game. You can make mistakes.
Rupa, I'll be back in a while. I'm going for some work and maybe in 10 minutes I'll resume back.
Yes, yes. I will also need to wind up by about 12:50 latest. So it'd be good to have you back by then. Yeah. Lovely. Now let's look at the production quantity. Okay. Only 8,000 units. So again, coming back to your inventory remaining. Inventory is not remaining, which means I could have produced more, sold more, and made more profits. Now let's look at our advertising budget. So possibility is when you look at all of this, your decision making has been very conservative. Possibility?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. What stopped you from experimenting is something that you need to think. Were you taking decisions tukka marke or were you doing decisions calculated? I don't have a tukka marke ke liye English word. Okay.
No, ma'am. We look at the that product was leading product in market. That's why we don't invest in advertisements.
But if you want to increase share price, do you need to increase your market size?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So then does advertising play in improving market size?
Yes, ma'am.
Think about it. Yeah. So these are things that you could probably have done. Okay. So this is your production decision. Now let's look at our reports. Yeah. Now let's look at some reports. You had all these reports available. I've just put them on one sheet. Okay. Product report. Okay. Product research report. Now, what is it telling you about your products? This is your features. I am seeing over here price increased in round 2, not increased. Instead, increased over here, 735 not increased. This you increased slightly. Whereas you had done some investment in terms of features over here.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
But and thereby you increase the price slightly. New improved Sunsilk or new improved Pantene, price difference hota hai?
Sorry, ma'am.
Whenever a company comes across improving a product, packaging improved kiya, new improved so and so, Saffola, new improved whatever, do they increase price? Any company in the market, when they enhance a product, do they charge you a premium? Your products are anyways premium, high income group.
Ma'am, if I add some feature in the product, I can increase the price.
Yes. Remember, you are catering to high income. High income ke liye 5 rupee price increase, is it good enough to show the improvement of your product? Think about it.
Yes, ma'am, you can charge more.
So what stopped you? Okay, now let's look at round 3. Round 3 mein, what did you do? You reduce the price. Same product.
Yes, ma'am, for the recession.
High income group. Think about it. And that too, 5 rupees, will it make a difference to high income? You didn't increase
ma'am.
you didn't increase advertising, you didn't increase research. In this, what are you doing? You've stayed with the same price for the elite. Inflation also impacts the market, right? Now you increase the price of this product. Okay. In year 4, 90, 95, 80, 80. Features koi change nahi hue. But you've increased the price by 5. So risk taking slightly.
Ma'am, we can modify only one. Our HI product is very low. That's why we trying to modify and reach the market. That's why we modify only one.
You modified, but you didn't charge for that. See that? You modified from 87 to 89, but you didn't charge for that. Your price is the same.
Yes, ma'am.
About it.
Yes, ma'am. Got it. Got it.
Where does the R&D cost go to? Who you take the R&D cost? Does it impact your profitability? Should the R&D cost be transferred to the customer? Think.
Yes, ma'am.
What happened? Are you seeing? Okay. Any thoughts?
Ma'am, we are afraid downfall of those. Yeah, that's why we increase a little bit or
Perfectly all
reduce a
right.
little bit.
It is perfectly all right because this is a game. Yeah. So in real life also people are scared. So it's okay to be scared in a game, but you have to reflect. Okay, what did I do? I incurred R&D cost, but what did I do? I took the R&D cost. Now, will it impact my profitability? Will it impact my results? Because I have not passed it on to the customer, and my customer segment is elite and high income. For them, if I increase the price, actually they will feel it's premium. I say new improved Sunsilk shampoo. Okay, or whatever, whichever shampoo brand that you want to talk about. And if it's for a premium segment and I bring Aishwarya Rai to kind of model for it, can I charge a premium?
Yes, ma'am.
So then, or should I take
Yes,
the cost
ma'am, got
of the
it.
company? Think about it. Okay. I'm just giving you tools to think. And we talked about Liger being. What was your slogan, by the way, as a company? You had a slogan, no, Shubhankar?
Yes, ma'am. Feel like hunter.
Where is the hunter coming out here?
It's a energy drink company. That's why I choose this. Feel like hunter.
But are your decisions like a hunter? Think about it.
No, ma'am, new in the market. That's a
Okay.
lack of experience.
Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. It's learning. Okay, so don't worry, it is learning. What about Parvi and who else is there on the call?
Ma'am,
Vardhaman?
Parmi ji here, Nimisa is in interview.
Okay. Palak, any learning for you? Is some learning happening for you, Palak and Vartika? Tanu, I want to hear your voice, one of you, or a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Are you learning something from this? Palak, Vartika, Tanu. Okay. Thank you, Vartika. Yeah, because see, irrespective of which team's data,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, Tanu. Yeah. Irrespective of the team's data, we are going to be learning from each other. And that is why you needed to do your company data, you needed to do competition data study, you needed to study the reports. Okay, now let's look at, we looked at segment sales research. Now let's look at segment sales research, channel sales research, and segment awareness research. Okay, and segment availability research. Now, when you look at all of these together, you are going to be able to interpret better. Now, let's look at channel sales. T4 is available at 26% of company-owned showrooms. Okay, and which is the other product in this HI segment? This has 6% in the company-owned showroom. So you need to compare with competition also. Okay, so they seem to have more company-owned showrooms than we do.
Yes, ma'am. When we got the product, the price is very, very low. That's why we compete with them, and round by round we increase the product.
Yeah. So here you look at it, what is happening. You were able to start increasing your round on round. When you look at it, you've started increasing this. Now look at this over here. Company owned showroom 26. Okay, for T4EL. Now, what was it in the previous round? If I've marked it in red, yes, you've come down. Think what happened over here. You can see here it was 27%.
Ma'am, further recession.
Okay, this was recession. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Recession impacted your company-owned showroom. Think about it. Okay. Then look at your.
We have to work before recession in it. That's why.
Now look at
It's
your
down.
availability, awareness and availability. Awareness for your product in high earners is pretty high. And in elite is also pretty good, round 1. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
It is increasing. Awareness is increasing, which is a good sign. But could you have increased awareness further is what you need to think. Now let's look at your availability. While awareness in your segment is at 18% over here, your availability in the segment, can this be enhanced? Okay. People are aware, but is my product available? That is what you needed to think. Round on round, willingness to buy. Now, you had a very good willingness to buy.
Yes, ma'am.
In your segment, see, 90% of elites were willing to buy your product.
We should increase our product more.
Production
Yes,
units
ma'am.
more. Not capacity, but units. Because
We have the plant, we have everything, but we can increase our production.
yeah. Okay. Very good. So are you learning now? Now
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
let's look at company outreach. Yeah. Company outreach for your team. You had 40 specialty stores. You had 4 showrooms. These were your major things. Yeah. Now
Yes, ma'am.
you improve showroom, specialty stores, you didn't increase. Yeah. Now you increased over here, one company owned showroom. Was the investment for a company owned showroom very huge? Think about it. I don't know.
1,50,000. Yes, ma'am.
Which was easy money, which you had a money. Yeah. Now look at where does your people buy products from? And were you targeting your product availability accordingly? Okay. Think about it. Did you strategize? In round 3, you realized that high income earners go, 20% of them go to 70% go to specialty stores. High and the elites 5% go. So your major shopping experience should have been here. High
Yes, ma'am.
specialty stores. What did you do for that? You were concentrating on mass merchandisers.
Yes, ma'am.
So think about it. So in this manner, you look at the various reports. Now let's look at financing decisions. Good, Dipali is back. So we will look at that. The first one that I want us to look at is your receivables and payables policy. What does receivables and payables policy mean? I pay in 30 days and I receive from my suppliers in 60 days. So what happens? What happens to money? When I owe you money, I pay you in 30 days. But when somebody else owes me money, I take it in 60 days. What happens to my money flow cycle? Think about it. All through the 6 rounds, you did not work on anything to improve this decision. Am I right?
We didn't look at this. That's why like that.
Look at this.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So that is why, that's the biggest mistake salespeople make. When I started my career, I was very good at sales. But, when it came to collection of payments, I would say, why the hell do I need to collect payments? I've got the order, money is coming in. But if the money doesn't come in on time, the company suffers. So look at your receivables policy. I pay my vendors in 30 days, but I receive money from my suppliers in 60 days. Do I get a money crunch?
Yes, ma'am. I could do that, but I didn't look at this. That's why it's like.
Strategic thinking, holistic thinking is about looking at every point of data. You had so much of data.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So think about it. So that was one thing. Now let's look at your rating. Round 6, you were at A. Round 1, you started at an A+, AA rating. Okay. Now let's look at some other things. 1 second. I just need. Yeah. Okay. Now let's look at anything else that you, dividends. Yeah. Your dividends is in small paisa. What do shareholders look for?
Ma'am, we increase our dividend, but here is 0.
Yes, it was 0.7 paisa.
Ma'am, we thought we wrote 7 rupees.
Yes, ma'am, we thought it is 7 rupees.
Like 7, 8.
Clearly data was saying in cents. Yeah. So dividend, again, could you have given more dividend? Could you have done something there is what you needed to think from a financing.
Ma'am, we give enough dividend from 5 to, I think it was 7 or 8.
Yeah.
We give enough dividend, but
Let us see. Where are we? I'm just sharing screen again. But it's 12:52. Give me a minute. I'll have to do a new share because I'll just take it over here. Let's look at dividend. This is what T4, 7 cents. Are you seeing this? In the group, yes,
ma'am.
you did. But when you look at your overall this thing, would that help you get more shareholders? That is the question you put to answer. Okay, now let's look at your financial statements. Dipali, we'll need your insights also coming here. Let's look at our cash flow statement. Are you able to see my cash flow?
Yeah.
This is Team 4 cash flow.
Yes, ma'am.
Outflow in manufacturing, we talked about already. Yeah. So your net cash flow from operations. Look at your data. Investing in plant and machinery, investing in R&D, you did do all of this. So you are not investing, net cash flow is here. Yeah. Financing activities. Is here. So could you have done something to improve your cash flows? Think about it. Just look at the data. Dipali,
Sorry, ma'am.
sorry.
I couldn't get.
I said, just look at your cash flow statement over the years. Any observations, insights for yourself? What do you observe? Dipali, anything that you'd like to give them as tips here? Were you studying this data?
You ask.
Voice is cracking.
Am I audible?
Yes, Dipali, now you are. Are you speaking, Dipali? Because can't hear.
No.
Okay.
I'm not able to pick up quite quickly with these things.
Okay, no worries. Yeah, so I would like you all to see, because I just highlighted here, cash flow from operations, could this have been enhanced? Yeah, that's my question. Because typically business grows with operations. Yeah, so what could you have done to improve cash flow from operations? Okay.
Improving maintenance for the efficiency, increase plants, or doing R&D and CSR activities.
Yeah, if you had advertised more, yeah, maybe your sales could have been better. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Our biggest lacuna was our sales, no numbers. If you look at doing ratio analysis over here, you will see, what kind of growth have we had year on year versus the production growth that you had, production plant capacity that you had. And from there, were you able to make so much more meaningful sales? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So look at that. Look at your P&L and balance sheet. Yeah. Look at this reserves over here. Would the reserves be used for something?
Yes,
That's my
we
question.
can invest in advertisement and production also.
Yeah. Or yeah, and did your R&D pay out? Did you reap the benefit of R&D? You didn't.
Yes, ma'am.
R&D
Yes,
cost.
ma'am.
How much of sales did increase because of your R&D? Think about it. Yeah, think about it. Just do your calculations, do your ratio analysis here and see. You've learned ratio analysis, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so do all of that. Now look at your profit and loss statement. Look at your retail sales. Market had the need, market had the thing. Did you capture the need of the market? Were you able to increase sales? What was the effort you put to increase sales? What was the focus on sales?
Advertisement.
How much of focus did you have as a team? Were you focused on sales? That was my question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are your results saying that? Think about it. CSR activity, research and reports you've invested, so that's a good sign there. Yeah. Bad debts. Look at your EBITDA margins, profit after tax. Look at all these data points. What could you do to enhance all of this is what you need to analyze. So this is typically the way you will sit down and analyze your data. You will also analyze competition data. Yeah, any questions?
First 3 round we analyze everyone, but end of the 3 round we analyze our data only.
And why was that? Okay. What is the learning? Let's quickly talk about learning for each one of us, because I have overshot my time, but nevertheless I'd like to spend that 2 minutes to quickly get learnings from this session. Was this session useful? Somebody dropped.
Yes, ma'am, very much.
Okay. So what was your learning? What did you learn with overall with this experience?
Take much more risks.
Yeah.
Doing fully production and use our resources which we have properly. Analyze our data with competitors' data as well as
apply the concepts that we have studied across the various subjects.
Yes, ma'am.
Simple receivables, payables, हमने cash flow सीखा, receivables, payables के बारे में हमने finance में सीखा, marketing में सीखा, but we need to keep leveraging. See, application and thinking through is what is essential. Yeah, but I think overall, I'm sure the learning has been meaningful for people who participated.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because Parvi and Vartika, how was the learning today for you? Can I at least see you on the screen? Parvi, Vartika, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so quickly tell us what was your takeaway from today's session.
Ma'am, we learned a lot. Like we learned like how we by missing a little few of the points, like we made, bad decisions that could have been improved upon earlier in the game, and looking at different aspects of like how R&D can be transferred onto the customers, and some of our decisions did work in the right way, but we could have done a lot more to improve them, and different aspects or areas of business that we also need to focus more on.
Vartika, anything from you? Okay. Okay. So Dipali, we've kind of looked at data points for them, and we've kind of looked at analyzing. Over to you, Dipali, if you're... Okay.
Yes, Rupa, I just missed it out. I had a call.
No worries. I guessed as much that, something would have come up for you.
Yeah, tell me.
No, I said we're done with the analysis. We've done with, them gaining insights. They've shared what they learned in terms of insights on playing the simulation and their experience. So we can kind of conclude and take any questions. If anybody has, I'm happy to answer. Shubhankar, Parvi, Vartika, any questions?
No, ma'am, you explained very well.
Okay, thank you.
So thank you so much, Rupa. It was lovely to hear it from you, the way you have explained the strategies and the way they have played and attempted. And you made them think about that what could have been done in a better manner. So maybe next time when they are taking decisions in real scenarios, they will be much more informed and they will be performing much better based on the insights that they have gained out of this simulation. So we did it for the betterment of student, and I hope it was a good takeaway for them also. So on their behalf also, and on behalf of Amity Business School, I would really like to thank you for every help that you have extended, because we've been bothering you throughout by changing times and extending things. Uh, it was really troublesome for you as well to catch up with things, but still you really kept calm, and every time you were able to answer to all our queries. So thank you so much for all the support, and I'm looking forward to continue these terms in future as well. And maybe next time we can plan it with third semester, not with the fourth one, because like fourth becomes really difficult. Else second semester is the best one, because from third they start, getting selected into companies. So, but yes, they do not join in third. In fourth, they definitely join every time.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, we could do that. And also would be good, if we actually do it in a classroom kind of thing where people are taking decisions together, so that would help them,
Right.
work with the faculty, hand in hand.
No, Rupa, reason why we did it in a hybrid mode this time was just because they have joined. Otherwise,
Yes.
your briefing would have been online, but yes, they would have been sitting in the classrooms,
Yes.
which couldn't happen. That's why I'm preferring to have it on in second sem or maybe third sem.
Yeah. So
Next
let's
time.
let's look at gunning it at early third sem or something, so that before placements, actually, because a lot of companies use this as a recruitment tool and they look at strategic thinking as a quality in individuals when they are
True.
recruiting. So ideally, when they've applied the concepts, when they've started thinking as a holistic thing, the presence at the interview is much better.
Very true, very true.
That's the feedback that I get from most of my teams who play. So
No, that's true. Being a manager, you are supposed to think about all the things critically and strategically. So if you do not have that inclination in your mind, if you're not stepping into the shoe, you won't be ever able to,
this team
diagnose
really-
things in a right
really took
manner.
the effort. I mean, Shubhankar and team, because that's the only team, who's been consistently taking decisions, is what I noticed. They also completed the investor update, and Shubhankar did send it out at 3:30 or something in the night.
Oh, wow. Thank
So-
you so much, Shubhankar,
So
that you.
yeah, good. I mean, I like this team. So
Yeah, yeah.
sure, a couple of years from now, do reach out and tell me where you've moved.
Yeah, he's very hardworking. And in the morning also, I met Parvi and Shubhankar, so they were very keen about it, and they were excited to know that what could be the debriefing now. So yes, if you have that inclination, only then you grow.
Yes.
So I'm also looking forward to see that these students have a very bright future. Wishing them all the best. And thank you so much, Rupa.
Thank you,
It was a
Dipali.
pleasure to have you here.
Right. So I will leave the call. I mean, if there's anything for me, you can reach out to me at any point.
And I request you to share that score sheet, the Excel one, with me so that I can give them.
I'll need a couple of days because I have a program starting tomorrow. So I will.
That's fine. Anytime when it is convenient.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, IT team.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, IT team. Bye-bye.